Powers?
Chuck Powers, Teaneck. So glad that I have your attention, Mr. Chairman.
I was starting the clock, sir.
I have in front of me a letter of dismissal of the Stop and Shop litigation, and it's signed by Kohar Bayadian, and she is a brand new partner at the firm of Dario Albert Metz, Ironman. And I don't believe that this board has ever seen or heard of this woman who, in this document that constitutes a requirement for the dismissal of that, on May 31st, said she was, in fact, your attorney. And I know how attorneys are to be decided if you take a look at the actual bylaws passed by this body in August of 2022. And it says that this body, in its entirety, will elect the board counsel. I have no idea why this woman, you never elected that firm. You elected Mr. Ironman every time you re-elected him. I have checked the record on it. I know that for certain. Who authorized this woman, who's brand new, she's absolutely brand new to that firm, to sign this document in your behalf? I think this body needs to understand whether or not, if this was actually authorized by the chair, it's certainly beyond his right, given the bylaws that he persuaded you to pass in August of 22. Thank you very much.
Mr. Rose.
Howard Rose, very quickly. Just want to compliment the board on its fortitude and attention to detail. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, before we adjourn, I would just respectfully recommend that we do take up, even at the next meeting, the discussion of who, in fact, is our attorney for the planning board.
We'll take it up now.
Well, yeah, let's do it.
Time. Why do you want to wait?
I think it bears, discussion, because if, first of all, Mr. Attorney Ironman, if he is no longer the attorney, when are we going to discuss and vote on a new attorney?
The answer is that right now, 90% of what we're doing is the hospital. So we don't really, we're going to go ahead and appoint an attorney who's not going to be attending. So Mr. Ironman is no longer our attorney. So if the names want to be brought forward and get a new attorney now, wait till the hospital's finished, wait till July when the board is reconstituted, we have options.
Can I ask questions?
Yep.
So with that said, Mr. Kelly is handling the Holy Name Hospital matter.
Correct.
If a matter comes up that is not of Holy Name Hospital, will Mr. Kelly be handling that, or?
So until next month, Ms. Kelly wasn't available because of a conflict with a previous client that he has. Once that comes available, then that's open for discussion. Then he can apply for the job for all of our stuff, not just the hospital. Instead of us having two different attorneys. Or we get two attorneys, him continue with the hospital, and someone continue with the non-hospital.
Okay.
Okay, so when are we going to talk about that? I mean, like, is that just like a private discussion, Mr.
No,
Wagner.
there's no discussion. It's
I'm
not
saying, but
available yet, so.
yeah, but we didn't
I-
even know that he was not available. I did not know that. I didn't know that that was even a point of discussion right now.
Because it didn't become an issue until Mr. Ironman was finally gone and no longer, which only happened over the last month. So there's all current issue that's happening right now when we haven't had a meeting.
Yeah,
The last
but
meeting is canceled.
I understand Holy Name Hospital is before us, but I think we're intelligent enough to walk and chew gum at the same time. We can proactively be thinking about who is going to be our attorney beyond Holy Name Hospital. I think that is reasonable, Mr. Chair. I think it's reasonable for us to think about it, to begin to put it out there, to begin to, just like the council has done an RFP for attorneys, I believe we can begin a process by which we decide as to who is going to be our planning board attorney. I think that's pretty reasonable.
Okay? Other board members?
Well, I'm just wondering if we, I guess part of the challenge is because of the way we're handling these meetings and that so much of the board has to recuse themselves, it's hard to have these discussions at these meetings without notification of, 4 or 5 of the board members who aren't here. So I don't think that, I think we should try to have a discussion. I agree with the councilwoman. We should have that discussion. I'm wondering if there is an interim,
Well, we do have 2 meetings in May.
I know,
that
but-
are not, hold on, that are not hospital meetings, and we can put it on
we could,
the agenda, and at least one of those meetings can happen. I mean,
but we
maybe
could
not
all,
both, but
I'm wondering if we can also, or in lieu of, say that because it's the high likelihood that the next 3 meetings we have are primarily hospital meetings, that we couldn't maybe agree that through May 31st, that Mr. Kelly be the interim attorney, because it's really those 3 meetings, and it shouldn't be, I don't know if that he's available technically, but I just doing the math, that he's going to be required at those next 3 meetings anyway, and then we can, to take the councilwoman's position of, it gives a little bit more breathing room on, and coming up with a process to,
well, July 1 is,
the reconstitution.
which board members number 1 to change, and that's technically
Right.
the time when you're supposed to reappoint your attorney. So if we want, we can use the deliberation over the next 2.5 months, decide what we want to do July 1, and have Mr. Kelly, to the extent that he can, do the regular board plus the hospital stuff between now and July 1.
Okay, and is Mr. Kelly available and willing to do that?
I'm happy to help the board any way I can. I just have a prior commitment on the 11th.
Understood.
Subject to that.
Yeah.
So your prior commit is only on that one date?
Correct.
So can I make a motion that Mr. Keller be appointed the board attorney throughout, to the remainder of this term until July 1st, when the board gets reconstituted, at which point we can move on to the next? Is that acceptable to the?
My only concern for the board, and I'm speculating, I haven't seen the contract for Mr. Ironman or his firm, and I would just recommend that before you possibly breach the contract
Right.
inadvertently, you take a look at that, because I know nothing about it. So if you just table the motion.
It may be that that when he was appointed, it was for the full extent of his term, and a replacement from his firm, who they were
Right.
trying to reach to do, but we didn't have a meeting. So
Right, well,
it kept getting pushed off.
Right, right. So
And
you
I
mean
just
that the
don't-
contract could be with his law firm, in which case that the other lawyer who we met at a meeting
No.
would have been wholly appropriate to sign that document?
And I don't know the answer to that, and
I don't
before
know.
the board jumps
Well,
off a
couldn't we-
cliff that you don't need to.
Could-
I will do the homework and research between now and our next meeting and report back to the board.
Because I wouldn't want to see the board.
And by then, we would have been past May 11th anyway, that,
Can I- okay, let me ask,
I can provide the information that you need.
Okay. I'd be happy to
Perfect.
just provide.
That's great, that's great. I think that's reasonable,
no,
so.
I just wanted to hear what Mr. Kelly was saying, but there was multiple voices going on at the same time.
I wouldn't want the board to inadvertently make a mistake
Understood.
that you can't reverse.
We can advertently make a mistake instead. Can we make a
Then
mo,
make the mistake, that's not a
we-
mistake then.
a motion to adjourn now is appropriate?
No, not just yet. So, Ron, you're gonna provide Mr. Kelly with the
Contract.
information he needs. Okay,
And then we'll revisit it the next meeting.
Right, and we'll address it expeditiously, so that we don't.
That's reasonable,
Yes.
Okay, motion to adjourn now?
Yes, you can.